Creepy bugs are some of my favorite animals on Earth, and I've had the pleasure of highlighting some of the most bizarre and iconic carnivorous invertebrates in the country over the past year. But throughout all my travels, there's been one that's avoided me. An infamous creature that looks like nothing else on Earth, and has one of the worst reputations of any animal: the camel spider. Despite being found in most of the world's deserts, this secretive predator has eluded me every time I've searched for it. In fact, most of my YouTube videos where I'm filming some random bug are because I was looking for a camel spider and had to settle. But tonight my standards aren't going anywhere, and I've come to one last spot to finally film this fearsome arachnid. Alrighty guys, tonight we've come to a grassland about 40 minutes away from my house. Now, this is incredibly close compared to some of the other places I've traveled to find camel spiders because, regrettably, I have driven to entire other states just to not find one. So I'm hoping I have the home field advantage. New Mexico's favorite wildlife YouTuber will get a layup, and I'm hoping we'll see one of these super rare arachnids. So we're gonna head down this trail, and hopefully with any luck, I will finally break this curse and find this invertebrate I've been searching for so long. During the day, this grassland is crawling with insects of all sorts, but it's at night that the predators make their move. Colossal wolf spiders, the biggest tiger beetle in America, and hopefully camel spiders as well. Even though this area hasn't had any recorded sightings of camel spiders, the habitat seems dry enough and has the right prey items for them to live here. So I'm hoping my hunch is correct. As with the other carnivorous bugs I find, I'm hoping to see how aggressive this guy is and have it walk on my hands, to see if it's as willing to bite people as many would have you believe. But before we separate fact from myth, I've got to find this animal. And finally, after a year of walking through random deserts alone at 2 a.m., it finally paid off. Alrighty guys, just right there, we have a freaking camel spider, the first one I've ever seen, and my god, it is beautiful. We have the carrying case. I'm going to try and get him in here so we can get him into a nice controlled environment. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we actually found one. He was just cruising out here at night looking for prey. Let's get him in here. All right, guys, look at that. That right there is a camel spider. That is one of the freakiest looking invertebrates you could ever hope to find. And oh my gosh, we found it. Super rare, so hard to find these guys. And we did it. So let's get him back to our little filming station, get some closer shots of him. I am so happy. All right, guys, we have got our camel spider right here. And I have not been this excited to film an invertebrate in possibly ever. This is just such a rare species to find, and it is so unique and cool looking. When the cameras were off, I was just nerdily staring at this thing. It is just so freaky looking. Now, a lot of the animals I film, they have really crappy stigmas around them. I mean, a lot of people are way more afraid of animals than they should be, but the myths surrounding this thing are crazy. I remember when I was in 7th grade, the coolest thing to do was just to say all these crazy things about camel spiders, showing these like photoshopped images of them. But let's kind of break down what's real and what's fake with these awesome little arachnids. Now, these guys aren't spiders, they aren't scorpions, despite being called camel spiders and wind scorpions. These guys are sulfugids. Sorry, past me, gotta stop you right there because they're actually called solifugids. I don't know why for my entire life I never noticed the I in that word. It's like an optical illusion or something, but yeah, solifugid is the correct way to say it. Now, these guys are much different than other arachnids because, as we all know, spiders and scorpions, they have venom. This guy said, nah, screw that. I just want to use my bare, raw power to kill my prey. So if you look at the face of this guy, super intimidating. Imagine a crab, and it just took those pinchers, moved it towards its mouth, and that is exactly what this guy has. It has chelicerae, which are these giant, pretty much beaks, these sharp jaws that just grind up their prey and feed it into this animal. Now, as for what kinds of prey are gonna be horrifically grinded up alive and eaten by this thing, the facts are almost as insane as the myths. No, this guy isn't gonna be going around hunting humans, but it can still tackle prey bigger than itself. A small one like this would be most likely targeting camel crickets and spiders, but the larger camel spiders out there will take on lizards and even birds, which is insane considering that it has no venom, meaning it has to overpower these animals with brute force alone. Now, because this animal has zero venom whatsoever, a bite from this guy isn't gonna be that big of a deal. Sure, they can draw some blood since their jaws are proportionately very powerful, but it'll come with no real risk to you whatsoever. However, if you so much as Google camel spider bite, you're gonna be treated to some pictures of horrific skin melting injuries, which would be literally impossible for a camel spider to deliver. Just another reason to not trust what you see on the internet, except for this video. Now, the vision of this animal is terrible. Like, you would not give this thing a driver's license. These guys have these tiny, very primitive light-sensing eyes. It can sense what I'm doing around here, but how it usually gets around, especially being so nocturnal, is that it uses those hairs and these really long legs it has up front to sense vibrations and motions of the animals and things in its environment. When I was filming this guy, there's actually a little bug attracted to the light, and it could sense the vibrations of it landing, and this thing reared up and just looked absolutely crazy. These guys, a lot of times, they don't run from a potential predator. They stand up, like, square up, let's scrap. They just put their hands up and just want to catch the smoke pretty much. However, when these guys do choose to run, they can seriously book it. Just not as fast as the myths would have you believe. People often say these guys can travel 30 miles an hour and jump 6 feet in the air, but they must be confusing it with Usain Bolt or something, because that's super wrong. The fastest these guys have been recorded at is around 10 miles an hour, which, don't get me wrong, is insanely fast for an animal so small, and I don't blame people for seeing that and thinking it's closer to 30. Another thing that adds to the fear factor of these guys is that during the day, they'll actually chase you. And seeing these things book it straight towards you at 10 miles an hour would definitely scare the pants off most people. But the reason they chase people isn't because of anything malicious, it's because they're after your shadow. They see it as a place that's nice and cool and will hide them from predators, especially on exposed sand dunes. Alright, now for the moment I've really been waiting for. I want to show you that these guys are nothing to be afraid of, and that is why I'm going to handle this animal. Now, there's a chance it'll bite me. So what? I've been wanting to hold a camel spider for a very long time. It's been a dream of mine. This entire summer, this has been the invertebrate I've wanted to find the most. So let's see what happens when he's walking on my hand. All right, scooting him on. Come on, little fella. There we go. That right there is a camel spider in my hand. And as you can see, it's not crawling onto my face to suck out my eyeballs. It is just chilling right there. Oftentimes, animals that we hear about being dangerous and just wanting to murder us and eat our babies, a lot of the time, they just want to chill. They don't want anything to do with you. He's just seeing my hand as some place to rest. And look at that, we're just vibing out right here. Total Snow White moment. Wow, I've wanted to hold this invertebrate for so freaking long. And here I am. I've traveled across the country looking for some of the weirdest, creepiest looking bugs, and this is one of my highlights of that journey. What an awesome animal. The one and only camel spider. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to check out some of my other invertebrate content. I've traveled all throughout the country, finding some of the world's craziest insects and arachnids, and a lot of stuff most people I've met have never even heard of. So be sure to check those videos out. And if you want to follow along on my new and upcoming animal adventures, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you all so much for watching.